Okay, so I'm with my coaching client George. So just introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm George. I'm the owner of a creative marketing agency.
So with your business, what does a typical week look like for you?
So it varies a lot because we end up doing quite a few filming days, which will be traveling and kind of mess up our schedule a little bit. And then other times it will just be a few weeks of computer work, so we can kind of be a bit more consistent with everything.
Okay. And before you started coaching with me, where were you at with things? Like what was actually going on?
So it was kind of one of those things where I think I was just spinning my wheels again and again. I'd feel good for like a couple days or a week, and then I'd just something would fall off and I didn't know what it was. And then I'd spend the next few weeks trying to figure out what it was. And then it would just repeat the cycle again and again, which is exhausting. And also, I think as like a self-employed person, you kind of have to create your own structure. So when
Mm,
you're doing that around everything, it's kind of difficult when it's like you don't even know what that structure is because there's nothing like I had no structure with training, I had no structure with my sleep or anything like that. So when you have to create it yourself, it's impossible.
what do you feel like has been the main benefit from, having that structure and ultimately having those challenges that you've been able to overcome?
I think, to be honest, I think the main benefit is just having the knowledge that like all of that stuff is sorted for me. If that makes
Mm,
sense. I think the mental capacity it took up trying to figure those things out for myself was just exhausting. Like, I
mm,
remember I almost dreaded sometimes working because it felt like I was putting yet another structure on top of the structure that I was trying to build underneath. And it felt like I was having two jobs. And don't get me wrong, training things will take up time, but taking out the thinking of it was just like made it so much simpler. It was like, okay, great, the plan's in place, like all of that stuff, like everything's in order, so I can then perform in what I'm actually good at. Um, so yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing. It's just actually like taking all of the thinking out of it and just knowing that things are heading in the right direction. And if I feel they're not, I can like reach out to you and check that they are, if that makes sense, because we've got all the like analytics of it all.
yeah. 100%. So it's like tracking the data and making sure that basically you can focus on the business and then like everything else in terms of your nutrition, diet, and sleep structure is all taken care of essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you feel like, in that sense, then that it helped you with putting more of your energy into the business because you didn't have to worry about the other things?
Yeah, 100%. For me, it's still a priority to do all those things, but
Mm,
it's actually been quite funny because I think it's shifted my priorities of the business because I think at one point I got stuck in like because it was a problem to solve in my brain. I think I got stuck in like trying to solve that problem myself. So it took me away from the business a little bit because anytime there was an issue, it that was my focus was fixing it, which was ridiculous because like it's not a priority on that level. Like performing in my business is a hell of a lot more important, but
yeah.
you can get tied up in these things when you're trying to solve it.
Can you describe like how you feel now compared to how you felt before when you first started? Like, can you compare that? Do you remember how you used to feel?
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's a weird one because obviously, like, I think where everything is like in terms of my business and training and everything, it's so different. Like, I just feel so much more certain, if that makes sense. Like, it's a weird feeling because it's like I just know, I everything is heading in the right direction, and it's like I think it's everything kind of bleeds into each other, doesn't it? Where like
Mm,
when everything is in order in one area, it's so much easier to have the other area go right. Like I
mm,
know the systems I need to put in place, and whether that be like training, diet, sleep, or the business, it's once you've kind of figured out the system, it's so much easier to then just do that with the next thing. So I think like I just feel so much more not aligned, but like like I guess I've got a more of a direction. That's how I feel.
100%. It's like more certainty that what you're doing is actually moving you forwards, whether that's like physically, energy wise, or like you just have this the streamlined focus in one direction rather than being
Yeah.
like, oh, this is going wrong or this is going wrong. I need to solve that problem. It just kind of like scatters your energy. Whereas like now it's all directed in improving in all areas. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, like I think focused is the right word. Like I remember it was when we were chatting about when I had the two businesses, and it was like I just wasn't focused. I was trying to do all of them at the same time. Like I was trying to like I was trying to like get in the best shape of my life, get like run a homeware business, run a marketing agency, and like also get the marketing agency like off the ground. It was like scatterbrained. Like I realized the other day, like I had a job that I hadn't ticked off yet, and it really like hurts my brain to do that. Like I need it done. Like I can't have these things hanging in the air. And I think back in the day, it was almost like I'd gotten in this rut of like everything was all of these jobs were undone or like not ticked off, and I think I just had no focus because I was like they were all open, and I needed to just hone in on it. And I think I couldn't do that because some of them were like, the homeware business was a nightmare. um, like my
Ah,
training was a nightmare. And obviously like the
yeah.
marketing agency was in such early days that it all just felt completely out of control. And it's like now it's all like smooth and easy.
Yeah. And you're in a great position now with like your physique, but also like your mindset, your structure, and your business. Like I've seen the progression with you over, you know, this time period that we've been working together. Do you feel like you'd be in a different position if you didn't start coaching with anything compared to where you're at now?
I'd probably burn out all the time. Like, I mean, it was a perfect example was the other day when I had clearly started to burn out, and I would have never ever been the one to be like, right, I need to just pause and take 5 days off. I would have just, I said to you, my brain was like, oh, I've got a holiday in a month and a half. I'll just keep going until that point. Um, and I think I would have just kept doing that. So I think like, yeah, I mean, I probably, to be honest, like, I think the business probably would have ended up being like a bit scatterbrained, and I would have just been in the exact same position with training. I'd been doing it for years, so I didn't see it changing.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, like we've known each other for ages now, like 5 years, and I knew that what you were doing could be improved, and I knew it would benefit everything in your life. And obviously, when we first started talking about coaching, you were a bit like unsure, hesitant for or against. Like, can you talk through that of like, were you hesitant, and if so, like why and what changed?
Yeah, I mean, so I obviously like everyone, one of the main things is money, isn't it? Where you're like, oh, it's like at the moment I'm juggling whether we've got a client we're building a site for who do like recovery stuff, and I'm like, you go over the things in your mind where you're like, should I really be spending this money and things like that? But it's like you realize like when you invest in these things, it just becomes like I don't think about it anymore. Like it's not like I said to you the other day, like it's not even a thing that's in my brain. But back then it felt so big to be like, oh, I'm gonna be investing in coaching because it almost feels ridiculous to invest in yourself. It's like I think that was the biggest thing for me was the money aspect, and then I think it was literally like it might have been month one. I said to Rebecca, my partner, like I didn't. A month felt so much longer than I realized. Because I think when you go like, oh, it's this much a month, and then you go, oh yeah, a month is a really long time, and in a month your situation can change, or like perception of the worth of it changes once you've actually experienced it. Because
Mm,
like how good I felt at the end of that first month was like, yeah, of course, this isn't even a question. But I think like I felt it's taking the leap. And it's also it's funny because it's like it doesn't matter. If you took the leap and then you were like, actually this isn't for me, you haven't like it's not the end of the world. It's literally you've just invested a bit of money in yourself. It's fine.
and yeah, it's interesting. It really is interesting. Like we always invest in like other, or we spend money on other things, and then typically like investing in improving, your energy, your performance, your productivity is for some reason the last thing. But you know, when you invest that into yourself, you get the returns like thereafter. And I think it is just the initial jump. But then as soon as you took it, we started seeing, improvements from month one, and then even month three it got better, and then month six, and now we've been working together for like over a year. It's like clockwork, and I've seen the progression in you in terms of like you're just so much better in terms of like your mindset and your performance, and everything is just so much more structured, like we mentioned. So yeah, so everything you're doing now is just focused on you becoming the best version of yourself, which is obviously fantastic. And I mean, who would you actually recommend coaching to?
I think it's just anyone who wants to just eh, have a teammate, if that makes sense, like pushing them in the right direction. Like it's like how everyone would love a private chef, right? Like you'd love to just never ever have to do that aspect of your life again.
Mm,
And it's like finding the thing that like can improve your life, and a lot of that is a coach, because it's just like whether that's for training or like obviously for you like sleep and business and things like that. Like it's just having that person to have your back, like pushing you forward. And it's yeah, I think it's just anyone who actually just wants to focus on self improvement.